Now, lobster fishing, a big business in New England, also a common recreational activity. But environmental experts say abandoned traps are littering our waters, causing significant impacts.
So now more than $500,000 in federal funding is being set aside to help remove about 1 million of those lobster pots from the Connecticut waters and in Long Island Sound. So joining us now to talk more about this project is Jason Patlis, the president and CEO of the Maritime Aquarium in Norwalk. Jason, good morning. How are you today?
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, glad to have you here. And I'm guessing this is news to a lot of people that this is even a problem. So before we talk about the solution, just talk to us about why this is such a pressing issue now.
So lobster fishing was big in Long Island Sound through the 1990s. It collapsed pretty hard and pretty fast in 1999. And a lot of lobster fishermen basically abandoned their traps that were in Long Island Sounds, that were in Long Island Sound waters. And so over the last 20 years or so, those traps as derelict, abandoned, ghost fishing gear, there's a lot of names to call those abandoned derelict traps, have been sitting on Long Island Sound, but they're still active. They're still collecting fish, they're still collecting lobster, and they're still having a very significant negative impact on the marine life at the bottom of Long Island Sound. They're also getting caught up and affecting recreational fishers, getting entangled in boats. And so this is funding to take on a very significant effort to begin to remove those abandoned lobster traps from the bottom of Long Island Sound. They've been doing it on the New York side for about a number of years now through Cornell Cooperative Extension. This is the first significant funding to start those kinds of efforts on the Connecticut side of Long Island Sound.
So talk a little bit more about the specifics of the funding. Who is going to get that funding, and then what's going to happen? Who's going to be heading out into the boats collecting all of that, and what are the next steps?
It's federal funding through the omnibus spending bill that was passed by Congress last week and signed into law by President Biden. The funding will actually go to NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, as federal appropriations. The NOAA will make a grant or directed spending transfer to the Maritime Aquarium. And then we will use the fund to conduct a very broad collaborative effort working with a number of partners who are subgranted those funds through us. And there are a number of conservation groups. There'll be industry stakeholders who we will be funding to run those collections over the next 2 years.
That's great to hear. You know, we're almost out of time, but I just wanted to mention, not that this specifically ties into the lobster pot removal. Today is World Water Day, which deals more with just making sure the world has access to fresh water. Why don't you talk about the importance of that?
Sure. Well, World Water Day goes back to 1993. It's actually complemented by World Oceans Day, which is June 8th and started in 1992. Both of those days really designated by the United Nations to recognize the importance of water, fresh water, marine water, for human life, human society. 97% of all water is salt water. That 3% of fresh water is what we live with and need for our daily lives. And today is a day to recognize just that so many millions of people throughout the world do not have access to clean, fresh drinking water. And the importance of that is tied to the ocean and clean, sustainable water through the seas.
Okay. Well, Jason, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We certainly do appreciate you bringing attention to this important subject.
Thank you goes to you for allowing me for the opportunity. Thank you.